Tim Walz and Vance battled it out during the CBS News vice presidential debate. Vance is looking much more comfortable in the setting than Walz, with the Democratic candidate stumbling, mumbling, and making some big mistakes. From the outset, Tim Walz looked very nervous and fumbled the entire first question. Both men were asked if they would support or oppose a preemptive strike by Israel on Iran. Walz stumbled through his first sentence with very choppy words resembling Kamala Harris's slow start to the presidential debate last month. Shockingly, he then confused Iran with Israel twice, at one point referring to Israel and its proxies. The New York Times jumped on this mistake and fact-checked Walz.
Would you support or oppose a preemptive strike by Israel on Iran? You have 2 minutes.
Well, thank you. And thank you for those joining at home tonight. Let's keep in mind where this started. October 7th, Hamas terrorists massacred over 1,400 Israelis and took prisoners. Israel's ability to be able to defend itself is absolutely fundamental. Getting its hostages back, fundamental, and ending the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. But the expansion of Israel and its proxies is an absolute fundamental necessity for the United States to have the steady leadership there.
After less than half a minute of answering the question, Walz pivoted to a scripted attack on Donald Trump for the rest of the answer.
It's clear, and the world saw it on that debate stage a few weeks ago, a nearly 80-year-old Donald Trump talking about crowd sizes is not what we need in this moment. But it's not just that. It's those that were closest to Donald Trump that understand how dangerous he is when the world is this dangerous.
Vance came out of the gates at full force, displaying his much more confident debating style. Vance answered the question of an attack against Iran directly, maintaining Trump led through strength on the global stage.
We have to remember that as much as Governor Walz just accused Donald Trump of being an agent of chaos, Donald Trump actually delivered stability in the world, and he did it by establishing effective deterrence. People were afraid of stepping out of line. Iran, which launched this attack, has received over $100 billion in unfrozen assets thanks to the Kamala Harris administration. What do they use that money for? They use it to buy weapons that they're now launching against our allies, and God forbid, potentially launching against the United States as well. Donald Trump recognized that for people to fear the United States, you needed peace through strength. They needed to recognize that if they got out of line, the United States global leadership would put stability and peace back in the world.
Tim Walz also was then grilled about discrepancies in his Tiananmen Square claims, which have attracted a lot of backlash. He failed to specifically answer the time discrepancy question.
You said you were in Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring of 1989. But Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year. Can you explain that discrepancy?
I joined the National Guard at 17, worked on family farms, and then I used the GI Bill to become a teacher, passionate about it, a young teacher. My first year out, I got the opportunity in the summer of '89 to travel to China. 35 years ago, be able to do that. I came back home and then started a program to take young people there. We would take basketball teams, we would take baseball teams, we would take dancers, and we would go back and forth to China.
Walz then made a shocking word stumble, saying he made friends with school shooters.
Yeah, I sat in that office with those Sandy Hook parents. I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it. Look.
Vance impressed and did what many hoped Donald Trump would have done in his presidential debate and fact-checked the anchors on the question of immigration.
Thank you, Governor. And just to clarify for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status, temporary protected status.
Well, Margaret, but
thank you, Senator. We have so much to get to.
Margaret, I think it's important because
we're going to turn out of the economy. Thank
Margaret,
you.
The rules were that you guys weren't going to fact check, and since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually going on.